to start. So everyone please get to page 136. So in this chapter...
That's not us. We're two.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're 200.
Sorry. Okay. Woo!
That must be tripping.
204, sorry. So last we read, Arthur and Mr. Hampton were drinking orange sodas, and they were talking about like how they're gonna put the empty bottles on a tree near the garage, and it will like kind of symbolize letting go of like all the bad things they did this year. And Arthur talks about how he feels really bad about hitting Mr. Hampton with the brick and all that. And Mr. Hampton's like, forgive yourself. He's trying to get him to move on. And I think, and then Mr. Hampton starts talking about how he's worried that he's going to die before he finishes his masterpiece, because he says that some people are coming to see it. And Arthur's like, what are you talking about? And he just says, you'll see, and closes his eyes. So we're on the top of 205.
Wait, Andrew, doesn't that sound like the guy at Marty's? The one?
I'm scared of him.
Me too.
Huh?
There's this guy at Marty's, and he comes up to us. It was me, Andrew, Camden, and Rowan, and he comes up to our table, and he was like, remember that, and then like walked away.
Weird. That is weird.
Yeah.
Wait, he only said remember
It's
that.
just like
We
a
said
deep
hate
dude, I
Yeah,
guess.
he
All right, I gotta
That
start.
was a lame.
So we're on the top of 205. So he just said, I'm nervous people won't get to see everything. And Arthur's like, who? And he's like, the people that are coming. And Mr. Hampton's like, you'll see. Kind of a weird, creepy thing to say. So top of 205. There was a long silence. Arthur wasn't sure if Hampton had fallen asleep or what, but he kept quiet. The guy seemed like he needed to rest. Mr. Hampton's eyes opened again. If something happens to me, I want you to promise me something. All right, Arthur said uneasily. What is it? I want you to promise me that you'll be the next director of special projects for the state of eternity. Arthur thought he was kidding. I don't think you'd really want me to direct any project for you, he said with a half-joking laugh. I'm not very good at the state of anything, let alone eternity. So he basically asks him in a really weird way to take over his project for him if anything happens to him. He's like, I don't think I'd be good at that. No, this is very serious. It's not a joke, young man. Mr. Hampton leaned forward, his dark eyes gazing hard at Arthur. I want you to promise me that if something happens to me, you will be the next director of special projects for the state of eternity and save my creation. He pointed at the garage, for the people who are coming. All right, Arthur shrugged. Sure. No, I want you to say you promise me. Okay, I promise, Arthur agreed, just so Hampton would calm down and stop talking about crazy stuff like invisible people coming down the alley and states of eternity. I'm counting on you, St. Arthur, Hampton told him. He squinted up at the sky. Now I think we'd best get busy working before it gets too late. After putting the last bottle on the tree, they went into the garage. Arthur helped Hampton move his office chair across the gravel because he said he wasn't feeling up to it. A little tired is all, so he still has some effects of not feeling well, still has cancer, so he's still not doing great. They spent the rest of the afternoon cutting out cardboard stars to decorate the base of a new table Mr. Hampton was putting together. Although Arthur didn't know it, those were the last stars he'd make with him. 3 days later, James Hampton was dead. So
That was unexpected.
he suddenly dies. Yeah.
True legend.
Okay, so let's keep going. This is 41. James Hampton has just died, kind of unexpected, but right before he dies, he asks Arthur to take over his project.
Do we know how he died?
We're going to find out. So here's 207. 41. Officer Billy came to Arthur's house on Tuesday afternoon to tell him what had happened. That Mr. Hampton had been taken to the hospital on Monday night, and despite everything they did, the doctors weren't able to save him. He had died early that morning. The whole time Officer Billy was talking, Arthur kept thinking about what Mr. Hampton had said on Saturday, if something happens to me. So he kind of knew, in a way, it
Did he
seems.
kill himself?
No. He'd never imagined those words would come true so soon, not in a million years. Maybe Mr. Hampton had seemed more tired than usual on Saturday and had said some odd things. But they'd made a bunch of stars, and Mr. Hampton had started to design a new table for his masterpiece. It wasn't possible that he was dead. He's thinking oh my God, I just saw him the other day. How is it possible that he's dead? We just worked together. When Arthur didn't say anything, Officer Billy patted his shoulder awkwardly and said if he needed to talk about his feelings, he could call any time. I realize this is tough news to hear. Even though he was afraid to ask, Arthur knew he had to find out about the garage and Mr. Hampton's project. He kind of put me in charge of some things in his garage, he managed to say in an almost steady voice before the officer left. What do you think is going to happen with everything? Of course, Officer Billy didn't have any idea what he was talking about. Don't worry about your probation, she said, patting his shoulder again. We can decide all of that later. I'll be back in touch in a week or so. Call me if you need anything. And then she was gone. So he's like, what do I do about this garage? What do I do about his masterpiece? Officer Billy has no idea what he's talking about. So she just tells him, don't worry about your probation. It's over. You're done. So he's like, well, but, like, I need to help this guy. Like, I need to continue my work. Arthur waited until the next day at lunch to tell Squeak what had happened. I'm awfully sorry, Squeak kept repeating about every 5 minutes as his glasses steamed up with tears. I liked Mr. Hampton a lot, too. I know, thanks. Arthur would answer each time, and then try to change the subject to a homework question or something stupid like that. Arthur's family wouldn't leave him alone until they heard the news. After they heard the news. Officer Billy had called Arthur's mom at work on Tuesday to tell her. She came home early, a rare occurrence. Top of 209. I can't believe all of this happened so suddenly. You just saw Mr. Hampton on Saturday, didn't you? Arthur's mom said, giving him a hug when she got home, which didn't help much. On Friday, Roger invited him to a Washington Senators baseball game to take his mind off things. When Arthur turned him down, he suggested bowling, then a movie. I really don't want to do anything, no matter what it is, Arthur finally told Roger. Thanks. Barbara left a bunch of rainbow drawings on his bed and insisted on giving him the silver bead from Mr. Hampton to keep. That's the, little, what is it called? The toaster knob that Mr. Hampton gave to Barbara. So you can remember your friend, she said, which was really sweet of her, Arthur thought, even if seeing the silver temperature knob from the toaster almost made him bust up and start crying. All right, we'll try to get through one more. What?
The boyfriend is gonna kidnap the mom, and then
What a
they're gonna have
prediction.
nobody left.
What a prediction.